Hi, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear us just fine. This is Jeff from the Department of Education. We'll do a quick introduction around the table of who's here from the Career College Transition Division. We're here to talk about Edgar today and what we're going to be going in. But we're here in a nice window room here at the CDE looking out at the top of the trees. And on my right is
Sherry Davis from the Perkins Unit.
Good morning. This is David Stang from the Adult Ed Office.
This is Zachary, Administrator of the Perkins Office. Lori, Analyst, Perkins Office.
And so in case you're wondering, the Perkins Office is actually better known as the Career Technical Education Administrative and Management Office. So that's why we call it the Perkins Office, just in case you're wondering. It's easier. Sure. We're here. We've got about an hour and a half scheduled this morning. We've been doing workshops around the state in person. Sherry and the Adult Education Unit have been out. I think we've seen almost approximately 450 of you out in different workshops around the state, both last week and the week before. We still have a few more tomorrow and on Friday in LA, but we want to give you guys this opportunity to hear about the updates in person via the web. Is that a way possible in person via the web? No. Anyway, I did post just a moment ago in the chat box the links, and we'll be talking more about those, but if you're one of those multitaskers that wants to follow along, those are there for you and available for you. So, Edgar, how we give you Edgar? You know what Edgar is, other than those of you who've read the bottom right underneath it. Edgar is not Carl Perkins' middle name, said that before. Edgar is not the Kiowa. Edgar is the overarching federal guidance for all federal programs coming from the Department of Education for all federal pots of money. And changes, yeah, the E and Kiowa. But anyways, the way I like to think of it is really some black, white, yes and no answers the feds put out, and then there's some things that are kind of, well, if it's framed this way or the other way, it could be yes or no. And so knowing what yeses and nos are going into it is always helpful. We played the game of Monopoly back when we were kids and played Monopoly with family, and sometimes we don't play it anymore because our families don't get along when we're getting it. But when I played Monopoly as a kid for a long time, it took me a long time to realize and get the version of Monopoly where the fine, instead of the fine going to the banker, the fine went on the middle of the table, and then we had that big pot of money on the middle of the table, and when you ended on free parking, you got money. You know, a little-known side rule of Monopoly where it's like the people get the money as opposed to the game, you know, the bank gets the money or the game gets the money. And like, oh wait, you guys that way? I didn't know that. That's the rule? Wow, I never knew that. And you know, it's not a game. You know, this is all serious impact changes. But just knowing what those are is kind of what our purpose in getting that information out to you guys today. That's our purpose. So we have 3 sessions we're going to be talking about today in our online workshop. We're giving you an overview. We're going to be talking about some overarching financial management implications specific about some specific allowability and inventory costs, and then really looking forward and how it's changed the way we're going to be doing monitoring audits in the future. So if you think of there's financial, then there's kind of yes and no, and there's also some monitoring audits. If you have any questions at all during the time, make sure you just type in the chat box. Sherry's here to answer and respond. David will answer from the Adult Ed perspective, and the WIOA perspective. We'll try to do that. And also, by the way, just let you know up front, we will record this and post this online so you can see it later. We will copy the questions and answers that you have and record them for later. So we want to make sure that you have opportunities to hear about this. Sophie is new. He asked the question: is this the same training as what's going to be happening tomorrow in Oakland or Friday in LA? Yes. But this morning part of the all-day training, the information that's coming in the afternoon is a little differently. So put right in. First thing is links. I posted these in the chat box, and we'll actually come back and explore these links later on at the end. The one you want to see most, if you're interested, is the presentation link. But we will come back to this. This is where we'll come back and land at the end of our time together today. what basically happened with Edgar or with the federal government is they had different, what they circulars, governing different pots of federal money that came from the Department of Education. You think about it, school districts aren't the only people responsible for educating, providing. There are sometimes education that happens